The day I realized my husband's brother was a predator, I was standing in a mall parking garage with my daughter's hand clamped so tight in mine, I could feel both our pulses racing. And the sickest part? He wasn't some stranger in a trench coat. He was family. He'd been eating at our table for months. He'd been given access to our daughter's laptop by my own husband. And right now, he was sprinting toward our car with a smile that said he owned us. My name is Amanda, and if you'd told me 2 years ago that I'd be filing a restraining order against my brother-in-law, I would have laughed. We lived in one of those Philly suburbs where every lawn looks like it was trimmed with nail scissors. Starter homes with big dreams and tiny yards. Rob and I bought our place when Emily was just a baby. We painted her room yellow because we wanted her to wake up to sunshine every morning. Before I get into the nightmare, let me just say, if you're new here, Anonymous Confessions is where real people share the stories that keep them up at night. Hit that subscribe button and drop a comment. Trust me, you're gonna want to talk about this one. Emily used to be my little shadow. She'd burst through the door after school and the words would just tumble out about how the cafeteria pizza looked like cardboard, how Jake tripped in front of the whole gym class, how she was pretty sure Mrs. Patterson wore the same sweater twice a week. I didn't have to ask questions. I just had to exist in her orbit. But somewhere around her 16th birthday, the orbit shifted. I noticed it on a Tuesday morning. She came downstairs, grabbed toast, and just stared at it, like the bread had personally betrayed her. Her eyes had these half-moon shadows underneath. "You okay, honey?" I asked. She didn't even look up. "Fine, Mom, late for school." And she was gone. But her phone buzzed on the counter, and I saw her actually flinch. Flinch at a notification? That's when my stomach first dropped. A week later, Mrs. Patterson called. I don't want to alarm you, which is teacher code for you should be very alarmed. Emily's grades had cratered. She sat alone now. When asked questions, she'd just shrug. I thanked her, hung up, and stood in my kitchen with the phone pressed to my chest like it was a defibrillator. That night, I tried Rob. He came home smelling like concrete and exhaustion. "Rob, the school called. Something's wrong with Emily." He didn't even pause his phone scrolling. "Amanda, she's 16. They're moody. It's biology." "This isn't moody," I said. "This is different." He finally looked up. "You're too sensitive. You read into everything." Sensitive. Funny how that word gets used like a weapon when the truth is too uncomfortable. And then Tyler appeared, Rob's younger brother. Freshly divorced. "He just needs some support," Rob kept saying. "He's family." Tyler had these sad eyes that crinkled at the corners when he smiled. He showed up with coffee, then with dinner, then without calling at all. One afternoon, I came home and found him in my kitchen pouring my good bourbon, the one I saved for actual celebrations. "He said you wouldn't mind," he said, all warm, and Rob, walking in behind him, just shrugged. "He needs a distraction. We're not monsters." There it was, the unspoken rule: object and you're the monster. The first time Emily saw Tyler at our table, she froze in the doorway. I mean, completely stopped. Her hand gripped the frame. "Hey, sweetheart," Tyler said, his voice dripping with something I couldn't name. Emily sat down and picked up her fork like it was the only thing keeping her upright. "Put your phone away," Rob said. "That's rude." Emily obeyed, and her face went pale as milk. That night, I tried her door. Locked. "Emily?" Long pause. "Yeah, Mom, night." I stood in the hallway, and a thought hit me so hard I nearly sat down right there. She's not locking the door because of me. She's locking it because of someone in this house. This is the part of the story where I need you to really listen, because if you've ever ignored that little voice in your gut, the one that says something's wrong, you know what comes next. And if you're enjoying Anonymous Confessions so far, hit like and subscribe. We're just getting to the really dark part. Tyler became permanent furniture. He'd bring groceries, take out trash, tell long stories about how his ex-wife destroyed his life. Every story ended the same way. "You're my only family." And Rob melted every single time, because Rob was raised to believe that family is sacred, that loyalty means never questioning. One afternoon, Tyler showed up when Rob was on site. I was working from home, buried in spreadsheets. "Rob said Emily's laptop is slow," Tyler announced, already heading for the stairs. "I'll take a look, save you money." Something clenched in my chest. "No, we'll take it to a shop." He smiled, that crinkly smile. "I'm family, it's fine." I called Rob. "Let him look," Rob said. "He knows tech." So I handed over my daughter's laptop, because sometimes the most dangerous person isn't the one breaking in, it's the one we open the door for. After that, Emily got quieter, and I started noticing things. How she'd grip her phone like it might explode, how her eyes would dart to the window whenever a car pulled in, how she stopped talking about her friends entirely. One morning, I caught her on the stairs. "Emily, look at me." She lifted her eyes, and I saw it. Contained fear, the kind adults recognize because we've felt it ourselves. "Mom, I'm fine." "No, you're not. You're locking doors. You're not eating. You flinch at every notification. Tell me." She opened her mouth, and the front door opened. "Good morning," Tyler's voice, bright and cheerful. "Oh, perfect. You're both here." Emily stepped back like she'd been shoved. "I'm going upstairs," she whispered, and vanished. Tyler watched her go, then turned to me. "Tough age. You just need patience." Patience, like I was the clueless one. "Tyler," I said, my voice tighter than I intended, "why are you here every day without calling?" For one split second, his face went cold, completely empty. Then the smile snapped back. "Amanda, I'm just trying to help. Rob's stressed, Emily's stressed. I want calm for you guys." Calm, like calm was something he'd grant us if we behaved. That night, I tried Rob again. "Your brother is acting weird. Emily is scared of him." Rob sighed like I'd suggested we adopt a pet alligator. "Amanda, Emily hates adults interfering. Tyler is trying to connect. He's a good guy." "A good guy doesn't show up uninvited and look at our daughter like she owes him something." Rob frowned. "You're reaching. He's my brother. He's not okay right now." And I realized it was easier for Rob to pity a grown man than to face the truth about his daughter, because facing it meant action. Action meant conflict. Conflict meant admitting that family isn't always holy. One evening, I walked past Emily's room, and I heard her voice through the door. Quiet, shaky, on the phone. "Jess, I can't. I'm scared. No, I can't tell my dad. He won't believe me. He'll say I'm being dramatic." I knocked. Silence. "Emily?" Long pause. "Yeah, Mom, night." I stood in the hallway, and I knew it was time to stop asking. It was time to get active. We'd been promising to shop for her homecoming dress for weeks. She kept postponing. "It's fine, later." But I could tell she was holding on to that trip like a life raft. Saturday morning, I said, "Today, just you and me." She nodded too fast, like she was afraid I'd change my mind. We picked a big mall. Crowds, noise. I told myself she'd feel safer with people around. Naive. There was no parking outside, so we drove into the garage, one of those concrete mazes where every footstep echoes and the lights make everyone look sick. Emily sat with her phone in her lap, eyes scanning mirrors and lanes. Inside, under bright lights, she actually relaxed. We ate fries. She told me something about school, small but real. For a moment, I believed we were okay. Then she froze. "Mom," her voice went tiny. "I thought I followed her gaze to a reflection in a store window, a male figure. I turned fast. People, bags, noise, no one familiar. "It's nothing," I said, way too confidently. "He's at home." Mistake number 1,000. We went into her favorite store. She picked a navy blue dress, simple, beautiful, the kind that says, "I'm growing up, but I'm not performing. I'm going to try it on," she said, and disappeared behind the curtain. I stood flipping through hangers when the curtains snapped open. Emily stepped out, pale as paper, phone trembling in her hand. "Mom," I looked at the screen. A message from Tyler. "Navy blue looks amazing on you, very elegant." Something inside me switched off. The lights went out. Cold clarity moved in. "We're leaving," I said. "But the dress, we'll buy it, go." I don't remember paying. I just remember gripping her hand and pulling her through the crowd like the crowd might drown us. Elevator down, parking level, concrete air. Then Emily said, "Mom, turn your phone off right now. Mine too." "What?" "Please, he'll find us." I shut mine down. She killed hers.
For 1 second, silence, like we'd slammed a door on something. We reached the car. Emily finally spoke, fast, whispering like the walls had ears. "He put something on my laptop. Parental controls," he said. "Then he made me install it on my phone. Said Dad knew. Then he started messaging me from different accounts. Sometimes just hi, sometimes threats. He sent photos outside my school, photos of our house. He wrote that he always knows where I am, and if I tell anyone, nobody will believe me, especially Dad." Rage rose so hard I couldn't breathe, but I couldn't scream. Not here, not now. And that's when I saw him, Tyler, standing near a concrete pillar, maybe 100 feet away, phone in his hand, waving it slightly like he was catching a signal. Then he lifted his head and looked straight at us, found us. He walked toward the car, slowly, calmly, like a man who'd always gotten what he wanted. "Mom," Emily whispered, "please." I started the engine. Sound bounced off concrete. Tyler sped up. I locked the doors. He was right there. He knocked on the window, his smile stretched thin and mean. "Open up, let's talk." I threw the car into reverse. He stepped in front and spread his arms, like some dramatic movie scene. Only in our movie, there was no soundtrack, just concrete and fear. "Amanda," he yelled, "don't do this. We're family." Family. The universal hall pass to ignore boundaries. I cut the wheel and shot into the next lane. Tires squealed. He ran beside the car and slapped the door. Emily screamed. In the mirror, I saw him sprinting for his car. He followed. At the exit, he tried to cut me off. Too close, too aggressive. I burst onto the street. For the first time all day, I was grateful for chaos. Chaos makes it harder for predators. He stayed on us. At one intersection, he tried to surge ahead and stop sideways. I jerked onto another road, one with people and cameras. I pulled into a diner parking lot, bright lights, big windows, strangers everywhere. Emily was crying with her hand over her mouth. I turned my phone back on. Notifications hit like an avalanche. Missed calls from Rob, messages from unknown accounts, and one new text from Tyler. "Don't do anything stupid. I just want to talk." I dialed 911, kept my voice calm. Stalking, threats, vehicle chase, minor involved, digital tracking. Then I called Rob. "Where are you?" he demanded. "Tyler called. He said you two fought." I inhaled. "Rob, your brother is stalking Emily. He's tracking her. He chased us, tried to box us in. I called the police." A pause. Heavy. Sticky. "Amanda, maybe you misunderstood. Tyler's just worried." I started shaking. "Rob, do you hear yourself? Worried is crying on a couch. Worried is not texting 'Navy looks great' while standing outside a fitting room." Silence. "Emily will tell you everything, if you give her a chance and don't jump to defending family." I heard him swallow. "I'm coming. Text me the address." When Rob arrived, he looked into the car and saw Emily's face, and I watched his world crack. He opened the passenger door, dropped to a crouch, and hugged his daughter. "I'm sorry, Em. I'm sorry. I was an idiot." Sometimes sorry sounds like a person waking up. I just wish it didn't take a nightmare. Look, I know this is heavy, but stories like this, they need to be told. If you're still watching Anonymous Confessions, hit that like button and subscribe. And please, leave a comment. Your story might be the one that helps someone else wake up. The patrol car showed up fast. Tyler, of course, was gone. Men like that disappear like shadows. They don't want reality, they want control. The officer took a report, told us to come to the precinct. It wasn't the moment the system rushes in to save you. It was the moment the system says, "We need paperwork." Next day, we sat on plastic chairs under a buzzing AC vent. Emily looked gray. Rob was tight as wire. The detective listened with that family drama face. Any physical harm? No, but threats, tracking, a vehicle chase. He nodded like it wasn't ideal. Then Emily pulled out her phone, showed him the dress message, screenshots, photos outside her school, photos of our house, lines that made my fingers go cold. "I know where you are. Don't get smart." The detective's face changed. The boredom left. The focus arrived. Rob finally said what he should have said weeks ago. "It's my brother. I let him in. I thought he needed support, but this isn't normal." Sometimes for the system to take it seriously, someone with authority has to confirm it's real. In families, authority often means the man. It made me angry, but I used it. They called Tyler in. He denied everything. Said I was hysterical. Said Emily was manipulating. Said he was just trying to help. The nastiest part, he said it in that same soft tone he used when he talked about being family. They let him go, for now. Those days were the worst. We changed the locks. Rob installed cameras. I drove Emily to school and picked her up like we lived in a war zone. She jumped at every notification, even on a new phone, because fear doesn't update just because you upgraded the hardware. A few days later, the detective called. We got a search warrant. I exhaled like I'd been holding my breath since the moment Emily went quiet. When they pulled Tyler's devices, everything got worse and finally made sense to the system. Worse because there was so much, better because now it wasn't a worried mom and a family misunderstanding. It was evidence. They found the tracking software, hundreds of photos, a file, his little journal, my work hours, Emily's schedule, the floor plan of our house, pulled from the builder's website, with notes about who slept where. I sat at my kitchen table staring at that list and realized if we'd waited another month... No, I'm not finishing that thought. Tyler got arrested. Real arrest. Emergency no contact order. Not please don't. Not let's be civil. A real, enforceable stay away and shut up. Rob looked like someone had smashed his entire identity and handed it back in pieces. One night, he sat on the edge of our bed and said, "I let him in. I actually let him in." I didn't rush to comfort him, not because I'm cruel, because sometimes a person needs to feel the weight so they never do it again. We started family therapy, Dr. Julia Bennett. First session was awful. I talked about fear and rage. Emily stared at the carpet. Then Rob said, staring at his hands, "I called Amanda paranoid. She saw it early. I just wanted it to be simple. I wanted it to be a family issue that blows over, because if I admit my brother is dangerous, that means I've been wrong for a long time." Dr. Bennett's voice was calm, not gentle, calm like a scalpel. Being wrong isn't the danger. Staying wrong after you've seen the damage, that's the danger. Emily finally lifted her eyes. I stayed silent because I thought Dad would believe Tyler. Dad always believed Tyler. Rob covered his face with his hands. That wasn't the ending. That was the beginning. Spring in the suburbs smells like wet dirt and someone else's barbecue. We were driving, Emily beside me. Quiet, but not the scary kind. Rebuilding. "How was your session?" I asked. "Okay," she said, and smiled. "I'm learning how to say no without feeling guilty. Apparently, it's a skill, not a personality trait." The case never went to trial. Tyler took a plea, psychiatric evaluation, mandatory treatment, strict supervision. The no-contact order stayed. He moved to another city with distant relatives, and honestly, that distance was better than any justice I'd imagined. Rob still texts from the grocery store, chicken or charcoal. Emily laughs. Her laugh is the only victory I care about. We pulled up to that same mall recently. I noticed my heart wasn't pounding, just beating like it's supposed to. "No garage," I said.
Emily replied. I don't have to prove I'm brave by walking into Gavat's. We got out, and she took my hand first. Mom, she said quietly, thank you for believing me right away. Well, almost right away, but you believed me. I swallowed. I should have done it sooner. I should have ripped him out of our house the day I saw your face change. You did rip him out, Emily said. That's what matters. We walked inside, bright lights, noise, normal life, and I kept thinking about the scariest part of all this. Not the chase, not the tracking, the fact that my child stayed silent for months because she was sure her own father would say family first, and only then, I believe you. Now the order's different, and that's the only thing in this story I'll call salvation. So that's what happened. The end.